down in Texas, close to Mexico. They like to drink tequila, watch the watermelon grow. The heat will try to kill you, the women they will too. They'll smoke you like a brisket, have you sweating through your boots. Throw yourself in a trough, dry off in the shade. Ponder life's decisions, the choices you have made. Ask yourself some questions, how do we end up in this place? Just chilling in the brush like a snake. How'd he get here? Where it's going, I don't know. How'd he get here? Living life, telling jokes. We're live. Well,
We're live?
yes, sir.
I don't believe you.
Well,
Yeah, there you go. Gotta get that beer. Cheers.
well, howdy. Welcome to an episode of How'd Get Here. I got my good buddy Caleb with me today.
Hello.
We're coming to you live from Duett's. Is that the proper way to say it?
Yeah, Duett's Texas Cafe, Texas Club.
It's their 1 year anniversary, am I correct?
1 year anniversary, Martindale, Texas.
It's a nice spot. I'd never been here until today, and walking around, I highly recommend it.
It's pretty awesome. They did a good job. You should have seen it before they had it like this. It was like there was no ceiling on the building, and like it was just a ruin basically. And they completely restored it. And upstairs there's like badass like Airbnbs up there.
Really?
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, it's a nice spot, and it has like just a good vibe overall. You know?
Yeah.
But anyways, I've been trying to meet up with Caleb for some time now, and get him on. You know, bump some gums, as they say.
I don't think that's. I don't think that's what they say.
That's not how they use it.
I think that's something else, buddy.
Oh, I thought that meant talking. Fuck, I was homeschooled, not really. I use that as an excuse. I mean, I say some dumb stuff sometimes. But last night I was at Moonshine down there in New Braunfels, Texas.
Oof, rough spot.
I heard one of the funniest things I've heard in a while, and I don't even think it was this guy's joke, but the fact that I never heard it before was impressive. They're playing Piano Man, and this guy, he's drunk. I mean, buddy of mine, just drunk as shit. And he looks over and he's like, you know, for a song called Piano Man, you know where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
He said, the guy with the harmonica doesn't shut the fuck up. I was like, dude, that's a good joke. Whoever invented that, came up with that. That's that's a solid joke.
It's a classic.
But anyways, I don't really know what to talk about today. What you got going on in life?
Not a lot, man. Just been kicking it. Been welding, fabricating stuff, working on trucks.
It's really impressive. I've been keeping up with some of the work you've been doing.
It's pretty nice to get to make stuff and get paid for it. It's fun.
I try to explain to people doing like welding. It's like really manly magic, kind of.
Yeah,
like,
it's an art form in some ways.
I remember,
but in other ways, anybody with a GED can do it.
Dude, but to do it efficiently, like with the amount of time you can put into something and get good at that.
Yeah.
I remember I tried my hand at welding a while back, and I was working on something, and I did not account for like the expansion or warping.
Oh yeah.
So this thing came out real bowed on one side, and I had to weld them together, and because I guess you're supposed to like
tack it.
Yeah, tack it, and I tacked it. But then I just went for it instead of like spacing out the welds.
Yeah.
So I'm like looking at this thing like, well, this ain't gonna add up. He's like, well, this old timer, he gave me this little piece with a nut in it. He's like, weld that to there and cut it in like an L, and then weld it to there. And I was like, dude, that's a good joke. Whoever invented that came up with that. That's a good joke. It's a classic.
It's a classic.
But anyways, I don't really know
And I'm like, I'm listening to that because I'm like, all right, it's already screwed. And sure enough, I end up making this little device,
Like a little clamp.
kind of, and then I turned the nut and it pressed the plate down.
Yeah.
And leveled it out, and then you continue your weld. I'm like, well, I would have never thought of that.
Yeah, there's all kinds of cool little tricks that I've picked up and stuff that I've done that I've been like, oh, I'm sure people do this all the time, and then like somebody will see it and be like, oh, that's really smart. I've never thought about that. I was like,
Yeah. Where did you, or when did you start?
man, I'm from a really small town, and we had FFA, and they taught us how to weld in high school, and my stepdad built race cars, and he also built trailers and stuff. So, like outside of school, I welded a lot, helping him, and it's always been like my fallback. So whenever I got off the road with the band, I was like, I need to get a job, and I had a CDL at the time too. So I was like, I can go drive a truck, or I can go find a shop to weld at.
Yeah.
And then my CDL I ended up letting it go on accident, and so I was like, well, I guess welding is
Smart man. As a CDL holder currently, smart man.
Well, I didn't know the medical card thing. I didn't know you had to keep your medical card up to date, because in the past I let my medical card lapse, and they just put a restriction P on my CDL, and I was like, oh, okay. And then you just go up there and show them that you renewed your medical card, and then they would take that restriction off.
Yeah.
Well, this time they just took my CDL. I was like, oh well, shit.
I let mine.
And I couldn't like retest for it nowadays. Yeah. You have to like go through you have to go to a school. I was like, can I just take a test real quick and like see if I pass it?
Yeah, I got pretty close this year with mine. I completely forgot about it. Had a lot of life happening, and then I get a letter from the DMV in the mail, and I'm like, oh shit! And by the time I got home from work, the letter had been there for a minute.
Yeah.
And so I went in, and I was like 3 days away from the deadline.
Yeah. See, I was 3 days past the deadline, and they were like, and
Nope.
the sweet lady at the counter was like, oh, honey, it's 3 days. Call this number, so and so, and then they'll see. I bet they'll, let you do it. And it took 3 extra days to get a hold of somebody, and by then it was a week, and they were like, oh no. So that's small. That's bureaucracy for you.
So how did you get involved with the music industry? I know you've been around and had your...
Yeah, I played a bunch. In Amarillo, I had a band, and I worked for a guy named Casey Berry. He was doing the Texas scene pretty hard around like 2013. And so I worked for him, just going on the road with him, and then I ended up going on the road with Dolly Shine, and then it just kind of spiraled out since then,
That's awesome.
And then I got to go play a bunch of cool shows out in Nevada at the Outside Circle show, and those guys were great, and it just opened my eyes to, how far music could take you.
And I think I can't speak for you, but for myself, growing up in a small town, there's not a whole lot going on, and then to see that stuff is possible, it exists,
Right.
and it's possible for somebody, I bet it's kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It was for me, at least.
And that's all I wanted to do is get out of that small town. So it was either, the military or finding a way to travel.
Yeah. That's kind of like my line of work with the horses, hauling horses. People are like, I didn't know that was a job. I'm like, I didn't either. Like, until it found me, I didn't know that was a thing.
I thought they just walked places.
They used to. Dude, I went to like some museum in Lexington, Kentucky. It was like a horse museum. And there were certain races that were spaced out because if you wanted to race down in New Orleans, you had to like essentially ride your horse there, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it would take like a month or so or a couple weeks to get down
Right.
to certain places. I'm like, that is insane. And then the evolution of horse hauling, they moved them to trains, started hauling them by trains.
Right.
And then eventually put them on trucks, but it took a long time.
Have you seen the meme? It's pretty damn funny. It's like a guy in a buggy with a horse, and then underneath it's a picture of a horse in a trailer with the guy driving a pickup, and it was like, my, how the tables have turned.
For real.
It's like one of the biggest conspiracies ever, that horses created all this. So
I've not heard that one. That is hilarious.
I just made it up.
Hey, I'm not even.
Horses made cars so they could be.
Yeah, get the day off.
Yeah. Smart bastard.
Dude, that's not a bad conspiracy. I'm gonna start spreading that one. You're gonna catch.
Don't
them.
say it too loud. They might be listening. You know.
Seen the ears on those things? They turn and shit. You might
Yeah.
be onto something, dude.
Yeah.
I never thought about it. But then why do they create mini horses? That kind of like, what are they doing there? Like, are they trying to blend in with the dogs?
Low bridges, maybe.
Oh man. Being
Speaking of welding, we actually built this patio.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I knew it felt sturdy. I felt when I walked in here, I was like, this place is
Well, I
sturdy.
don't know about all that, but
Oh man. Howdy.
hey-o, beer me. Oh, she opens it. Everything. Thank you, Tori.
What's the opposite version of a gentleman? Like a feminine gentleman. What do you call that?
A bitch.
Just a kind. Just a kind person. Oh. But you got it. So you got a gig coming up. You're playing here.
Yeah, I'm playing here in 45 minutes.
Nice. How often do you do shows like that?
Man, I don't seek them. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I get, people ask, so I do it. I haven't looked for gigs in a long time.
I think there's a weird dynamic there, and I hate to say this about myself, but like it's kind of how I am with comedy. Like gigs just find me,
Right.
and I'm blessed to have them. I'm grateful to have them, but I don't like, and I probably should change this, but I don't really pursue gigs too aggressively, just for the sake that like I'm never around, never home, so I don't want to be like looking for stuff, and they're like, oh, we got this show going on, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, but I'm not gonna be in town.
I got pretty burned out doing it, just because it's so cutthroat, and I'm
Yeah.
sure the comedy scene is the same way, if not worse.
It's probably worse because like with comedy, you just walk up. You don't need to have like a guitar or any kind of instrument. You could just walk up and do any show.
And the Texas scene is like the music scene is. I don't know how it is now, but it was very cliquey. Like if you weren't in this friend group, like
Oh really?
yeah. But I mean, I moved down to New Braunfels. Like my old goal was to move to New Braunfels to play music because that's where Cody Canada lived, that's where Wade Bowen lived, and all that. So I was like, that's where it's at. And I thought I did it 3 times. This is my 3rd time chasing a scene.
Oh really?
I guess you could say, yeah. So I moved to Lubbock, and I was just like right on the tail end of playing with some of those guys. Like I did the very first West Texas Live with John Bauman and Cleto Cordero.
Oh, no kidding.
And that was before Flatland was the thing. And I was like, oh, man, I'm in it now. And then all of a sudden, like, all these guys around me just started taking off, like Dalton Domino and all those guys. And I was like, well, I missed that one. And then I was like, well, I see something happening in Stephenville. So I moved to Stephenville and hung out, around Co and all those guys. And then Co took off, and all these other bands, like, started taking off. I was like, well, missed that one. I guess I'm going to move to New Braunfels.
Man,
But it's not like I missed the scene. It's like I moved to these places and I partied my dick off and I didn't fucking pursue music. I just did the party.
I think Cleto was like one of my favorite songwriters. People hear Flatland, they think of Flatland, but like a lot of people don't know who's behind that,
Right.
I don't know if he writes 100% of their songs, but
I think he does, man, because, I mean, back in the day in Lubbock, he would come. We did the Monday nights at Blue Light, or open mics, and so I go up there every Monday and play the same fucking songs every Monday. Never wrote any new songs. Everybody's sick of my ass. But Cleto started coming, and like I was like, holy shit, this guy's badass.
yeah.
And I told him one day after, I was like, dude, you're gonna be famous. Like you're gonna be somebody. And last time I saw him, I was like, do you remember when I told you that? And he was like, yeah, I remember that. I was like, oh shit.
I think the Texas music scene has one of the coolest versions of famous, where you can still just be a person.
Right.
Like I feel you don't have like maybe Cody Johnson's an exception to that because he's famous, but like
See, I don't know. I felt like he's probably like just like, for instance, like I ran into Josh Ward the other night, and he's kind of big in the scene, and he was just at a bar drinking, hanging out like just regular folks, and I was like, oh, cool.
yeah. I feel like our guy, Randy Rogers and Wade Bowen and them, I think they've made it.
Yeah.
Like they're
Yeah,
top
they
of the
don't-
food chain in Texas.
Yeah, they don't have
And
to.
I feel like even them, they can go down to their local bar.
Right. Yeah, I ran into Randy at the fair just the other night.
And they won't like get harassed. I saw the Panhandlers play at Green Hall earlier this year, and Randy was in the crowd,
Yeah.
just enjoying the show like the rest of us.
Right.
And but I would call them 100% call them successful, and I think that's a really cool thing that the Texas music scene has to offer that maybe Nashville, other places,
Right.
they don't get to achieve that, or they don't get to experience that. They get super famous where non-country people listen to them, and their tickets are $500, and
But at the same time, fuck them.
yeah, I'm not glorifying that.
I don't know, man. Also, being on the road with Mike and the Moon Pies, which is Silverado now, getting to see how the sausage is made, it really will turn you off from this whole thing.
I could imagine. That's why I admire being a comedian.
Yeah.
A lot of the comedians are just normal people that, besides maybe Rogan for other reasons, or some of the big guys like Kevin Hart, but people like Kevin Hart or that fluffy guy.
Yeah.
They're not really
they're
not in the comedy scene. They do these arena shows.
Right.
They keep to themselves, from what I understand.
Yeah, and it looks like they transition at some point. You transition into film.
Yeah, you're more of a Hollywood guy than a comedy guy.
Yeah.
And
it's funny to see like wrestling does the same thing.
Oh yeah.
Or like boxing or like UFC and stuff like that. You get to a certain point and then you become an actor.
Yeah, superstar wrestler actor.
Like you're somebody. I doubt it's them. I bet it's somebody in marketing that sees them and is like, "Hey,
let me own you."
Yeah, let me make you more famous.
And I don't know shit about the music industry, but it seems like a lot of these big bands that get approached by somebody with a check and like, "Hey, here's a lot of money," and then they take it and then they get owned. They don't have the rights to their music or different things. Whatever the particulars are. And somebody was saying like, if they're offering you $1 million, that means they're trying to make $100 million off of you.
Right.
And so you just wait it out. Like that money's going to be yours. And it's funny to hear stories of people like getting suppressed that are unsigned or whatever. And then they do the big wigs in the music industry do what they can to shut that down.
Oh yeah.
Not let them play shows or certain venues.
Oh yeah. It's the Jews, man. It's
well, like the I don't
dirty, filthy. No, I'm not.
I don't listen. I don't listen to that kind of music. There's a guy named Russ. You ever heard of him?
Oh yeah.
And like he was like unsigned or is unsigned or whatever, and they were like the record companies were calling certain venues like arenas.
Yeah.
Say, hey, if you host that guy, we're gonna take all these other guys away from you.
Absolutely, yeah. And Ticketmaster does that now with all these small. They did it with Pearl Jam. Whenever Pearl Jam fought, Ticketmaster over the ticket prices, they went around being like, okay, well, if you play this venue, like we're gonna contact that venue and tell them that they can't get these other artists that are in our wheelhouse, and so like Pearl Jam couldn't get any gigs. Like Pearl Jam couldn't get gigs. Like what the fuck?
I think
that's how big of a fucking pool that they have on the scene. And they're shutting down places like this, like and dive bars and stuff. They can't get because all these they're doing big arena shows now.
I think that's one of the nice things about Austin. There's so many little rooms that are hosting extremely talented musicians. Like I went to that Continental Club. I don't know how you feel about that, but
I love it. Yeah,
I saw 3 good bands in a row. Great bands. Cowboy Diplomacy. And I forgot the other one. But anyway, I saw 3 really good bands play there, and I'm like, man, this is a nice vibe, like the nice room, and Antone's, a place like that.
Oh yeah.
Like you see some good. I saw the Wilder Blue there.
Oh, nice. Yeah, those guys are badass.
Dude, I mean, rock stars, and you're in a little tight room, kind of similar to this.
Yeah.
And I feel so lucky to be in this area and experience this. I have friends from the Northeast, and like there's a scene, different kinds of scenes, but there's scenes up there from like the caliber of music that we have just casually down here.
But I mean, it is those places like that, like Continental and Antone's. Believe it or not, they're in danger of
really
getting overtaken by these big, because all they're doing is big arena shows, and they're like selling those tickets for a shitload of money, and it's putting small clubs out of business.
That's crazy. It's sad, I try to tell people, like, oh, I'm going to a concert. Like, oh, how much are tickets? And these are people that are not from here, right? They're like, how much are tickets for, let's say, a Randy Rogers, Wade Bowen show? And I'm like, I don't know, $30, maybe 40.
Right.
And they're like, oh, stuff like that up here is 100, 200. I'm like, yeah, because the ticket industry is disgusting.
It's
That's
insane,
not even.
yeah.
I wouldn't even call that consider it the music industry because you're not buying a face value ticket.
Right.
You're paying the resale.
Yeah, you're getting the fees and all that shit.
Yeah, and
Did
I'm
you
like-
see the ragweed tickets? I tried to
God.
get one, and I saw it was like on Facebook, and somebody got to the to the ticket side,
Yeah.
like somebody made it through, and they like posted like, hey, we can't afford this because like they claimed that it was gonna be like $45 to $225, but then there's $70 in service fees. Like you end up spending $300.
By the time I got in there, the like highest level seats, it was like level 5 or 500 or whatever it was. They were 180
Yeah.
piece.
Did you go?
No, I was
Oh.
like, because I couldn't afford. Not that I couldn't afford, but like I'm not gonna pay $180 for
Yeah.
4 tickets for me and my buddies, and it
I'm
just
also
didn't-
worried they're doing it in Stillwater in April, like tornado
Yeah.
season in Oklahoma. Why the fuck?
Well, where's everybody gonna stay at too? So I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'll probably catch the next one, whatever it happened. It was like Turnpike when they came back and everybody's going.
Oh
nuts.
yeah.
Everybody's going nuts for their tickets.
Hopefully
and,
they do a tour. But yeah, I had a buddy that he called me whenever I told him I was waiting in line for the ticket, and he's like, I'm waiting in line too, man. And then he was like telling me all of his plans. He's like, I got an Airbnb in Oklahoma City, and I called and I reserved a limo that will take me from Oklahoma City to Stillwater and back, so we can pregame and everything. He's like, you can stay there if you need. I got room, and I was like, all right, cool, man. And then like we both didn't get tickets.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, are you gonna get like a refund for all these? He's like, I don't know, I'm trying.
honestly, what I'm hoping for is that people that went all in and bought all these, because people are buying 8. People are buying 8 tickets a piece.
Yeah, they'll
And
come up.
They're
yeah.
gonna come back up for sale, and that's what I'm hoping on.
Yeah.
because that's exactly what happened with Turnpike for me.
I took off work for it, so
Oh yeah,
we'll see.
I might not have a job by then. Who knows? But yeah, I'm like, I'll just wait for people to the hype to kind of wear off, and people are like, I'm gonna get rid. I don't need 8 tickets. I'm gonna get rid of 4 of them or
Yeah.
whatever, and then I'll buy them then for whatever they paid, hopefully. But I'm pretty excited about it. I haven't seen Turnpike since I was a child. I don't think I was drinking age 10 years ago,
Yeah.
and I didn't get to experience it like I would now. So I'm kind of excited about that.
I got to see them. They played White Deer Rodeo in White Deer, Texas, in I think it was like 2011 or 12, and there was like nobody gave a fuck, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was like, I had been listening to him a little bit, so I was like, me and my cousin. I have a cousin that his name's Spencer Ford, and we that's all we did was like dig. We were huge ragweed fans, and then anything red dirt Texas country, we were like in it, and we'd go sneak into the bars in Amarillo and see whoever we could. But we drove out to White Deer and hung out with them afterwards. RC, their bass player, kept giving us this water bottle. We were both underage. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Not to incriminate
Nobody's gonna listen to
anybody.
this shit.
But they, hey John, he kept giving us his water bottle that was just full of mystery whiskey, like just not even like a good water bottle, like one of those shitty like thin plastic ones. And we got wasted, man. And Spencer's little brother, my cousin Mitchell Ford, and he plays now too. Mitchell does. Shout out to him. But Mitchell had to drive us home all the way to Wheeler, Texas, and he was like 15 or 14 at the time.
I remember when I was a kid, like high school age, there's this old farmer we were friends with, and he'd always give us a bottle of Canadian Hunter. And that's because that's what he would drink, right?
Yeah.
So he was like, oh, here you go. Yeah. And now that I'm older, I'm like, he's an adult. Like, we had an excuse to be drinking $8 whiskey. He was an adult and a pretty successful adult. you
Yeah.
know? And he was drinking $8 nasty. I would never touch that today.
Oh,
me
hell no.
personally. And it's pretty funny to look back on. Like, man, that was wild. That's when you could drink. I could survive off of Four Loko. Like, I could drink it. Now I get a smell of it and I can't even.
Yeah.
I'll gag.
I've never been a liquor guy.
Yeah.
I'm just a lowly beer drinker.
I was a drunk guy. I was whatever would get me drunk. That's what I was in for.
I just like to drink beer. I always have.
Yeah, I felt like a pussy because
I went through a rumple stage for a second there
I went
in
through
Lubbock.
I went through a real bad Jaeger stage when I was in
Ooh.
high school.
I never got into that.
This was our scam. Well, Jaeger bombs. I don't know. It was just Jaeger bombs.
Oh yeah, okay.
So we get somebody outside the liquor store to feel sorry for us and buy us a bottle of Jaeger, and we'd give them like $80 and for like a $30 bottle, and they usually do it. And then we go to Walmart and buy a 12-pack of Red Bull, and then we'd use the receipt and we'd go in like 2 or 3 times and just walk out with another. So we'd buy 1 case of Red Bull and get like 3 or 4, and for the price of 1. It was a nice little deal there.
That's
it was a nice little deal. They didn't know they were running.
Yeah.
I don't condone shoplifting, but if you're gonna do it, at least do it at Walmart. You know?
Yeah, it's Stephenville at the Walmart. You know they have Larry Joe Taylor Fest there in Stephenville.
Oh, okay.
And so we would get because they check the receipts. So we go get a 30-pack of Coors Light, and we go up and pay for it, and then we get two 30-packs, pay for it, show the guy the receipt, and we'd have somebody waiting outside. Give them that receipt.
Yeah.
They run in and grab 2 more 30-packs and show them that receipt.
They had a receipt
at the other door.
Yeah, it was a
So
very.
we get two free 30-packs.
Yeah, it was a very efficient scam, clever scam if you thought about it, and we didn't share it with anybody.
Yeah,
we did that one for Red Bull and the 100-pack of shotgun shells when we wanted to shoot skeet. We
have the queen of stealing from Walmart in the house tonight over here. Tori.
We'd buy
Yes, you are. She said she's not a klepto.
We'd buy the 100-pack of shells, the federal shells.
Yeah.
With a $8 box of clays, and then same thing. We'd run in and out 2 or 3 rounds. It was a really good deal.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
They just didn't know they were running it. Like I said,
stealing ammo from Walmart.
Yeah.
There's a country song.
Right, it should be. So you said you've been writing a couple jokes?
I've been writing jokes.
You think about hitting the mic soon?
I want to.
I think you should.
I want to.
I highly recommend it to a lot of people. Like, some people are just funny. And
when are you going to an open mic?
I don't ever plan it.
Okay.
I'll share a page with you, and this is for Austin, Texas. I'll share a page with you that has all the open mics throughout the week and stuff. And I do them whenever
I think there's one in New Braunfels that's opening up. I think there's one at Lucy Cooper's.
They're doing open mics there?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be down. I'm a little whore for stage time. I'll go on any stage, anywhere, anytime.
See, I want to do that. I want you to be there when I do my first one.
Hell yeah. So you got some pretty good jokes. You shared a couple with me, and I think there's something there. And it's a journey that everybody has to go on, where you write some jokes and then you bring them to life. Like,
yeah. Oh man, let's go through my notes here, and I'll show you. They're just all ridiculous. Like, some of them don't even make sense at all. I think I have one that just says, car warranty on Dolly Parton's tits. Like, do you think she has a warranty on that? Because she got those things back in fucking. You got to get an upgrade at some point.
I'm sure she's done something over the years.
Yeah, you got to upgrade. She
still looks pretty
those.
Good. Somebody was asking me about drag queens the other day, or mentioned something about drag queens, and I was like, my only issue is I don't like tits that aren't real. Like,
yeah,
that's the only part that bothers me. Like, they're not real. I don't want to see some nice, beautiful tits and they're fake.
I got drunk the other night and was talking to somebody about, people do surrogate mothers. You can have somebody else's baby and stuff. And I was like, who decides? Like, is there like a realtor for that?
I'm sure there's like an agency.
Yeah,
it's a money grab.
Yeah, they make a bunch of money because somebody was saying like the woman birthing the child only gets like $20,000. I was like, that is not worth it at all.
Shit,
that is not worth that.
It depends. I don't know. I guess
I would need $120,000 to ruin my life for 8 months or 9 months.
I don't know. There's some women that love being pregnant.
Yeah,
I wrote a fucked up joke.
Have you heard about the joke? It's like, they say being pregnant's like getting kicked in the nuts.
Oh yeah, he's like, no guy's ever
asked. Hey, I think I want to get
kicked in the nuts again. Yeah, I wrote a joke.
But I in this joke is like, so it's like womb realty is the joke. Womb raiders. Like a house, like an HGTV show, but they just like
womb raiders,
womb hunters.
I wrote this couple weeks ago. It might have been a month ago or so. There was a couple babies that got killed being locked in cars in the summer, and the human in me.
I thought kids love Hot Wheels.
So the human in me is like sad, like, oh, that's sad. And then the comedian in me was like, there's a joke there.
I did the same thing with the same. That's where the Hot Wheels. I have it in my notes. Hot Wheels.
So my joke that I got from it was like, you know why poor people have so many fucking kids? Because they can't afford a car to lock them in. They always have the most kids. Right?
Oh, that's good.
But I'm like, oh, I'm starting to see life as a comedian now. Like,
Yeah.
oh, there's joke, and it's okay. Like,
Right.
It's okay to have jokes anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah.
As long as they're funny, and telling the people that want to hear jokes. You can't tell offensive jokes to people that don't want to hear them.
Right.
It's not. You're not the problem. It's the wrong crowd. You know.
It's not you.
I went to a
You're
show.
funny.
I had not an open mic. I did a show in Fort Worth like 2 weeks ago, and I'm doing jokes that I've killed with before. I mean, I hate saying that. I don't want to sound cocky, but like I've done pretty good.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing the same jokes I've done. You know, a couple new ones, but most of them are the same jokes I've done for a while. And the crowd was not laughing, and then I let it sit, and then laughter would start building up, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like the timing was weird, you know. If like I told you my car joke right now about the kids, and you laughed.
Yeah.
I tell the same joke there, and they were like, oh, and then laughter would start. I'm like,
well, they're a little slow up there in Fort Worth.
I'm like, dude, I want to fucking kill myself for the first 5 seconds.
Yeah.
After every joke, and it was weird having to sit on them like that.
It's crazy how like music and comedy overlap in that way, because there's some towns where, you know, a set will fucking crush, and then, you know, and they're loving the songs, and they buy a bunch of merch after the show.
Yeah.
And then there's some places that like you're like, why the fuck am I doing this? Like,
yeah, like I want to die.
I should have killed myself when I had the chance, when I had that gun in my mouth last night.
No, for real. It's funny how comedy and musicians overlap tremendously, because I think there's an admiration on both sides for each other. A lot of comedians hang out at with musicians, and you know, the other way around. And
the only good thing I see about comedy, that the pros of the music, is you're by yourself. You don't have to deal with any drama or egos in the band. Or
it's up to you.
But it is crazy. I heard like some of those guys travel with like 2 tour buses, like comedians. They have like a crew of 8.
There's a lot of cliques and stuff in comedy, and like you're saying, you don't have to deal with anybody. Like, yeah, but sometimes if you don't deal with people, you don't get invited to certain shows.
Oh yeah,
and I think the cream always rises to the top.
Right.
So like, I'm not involved in anything. Like, I'm friends with everybody. I'm cool with whoever's cool with me. But I'm not getting fucking awesome spots like some of these people are.
Right.
And but I don't care about
women. Comics have it easy. They can just suck dick till they get to the top, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure it happens.
Is that not the same as the music?
I'm sure it happens. I just haven't been exposed to it yet. I don't submerge myself like that. You know, I do the shows I can get, and go back to work. I guess because I still have a real job. I'm not in it that deep yet. You know, unfortunately. But I also don't really care. Like, I just want to be funny, and I want to tell jokes to people that want to hear them, and that's all I care about.
Tony liked you.
Yeah, I think so. I get that a lot. Everybody's like, oh, every time I hear the same thing, oh, I thought he was gay. I'm like, I don't know, dude.
Look at this guy.
Hey.
Ramblin'.
Dude, ramble. Daddy.
Well, we got a photographer here. A real one. This way?
There you go. Perfect. 1, 2, and 3.
Appreciate you.
You got the lens cap on.
Like he doesn't know what he's doing.
And here we go. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm cheesing like a nerd over here.
Oh, that's funny. So we're doing a comedy show one time in like Pflugerville or somewhere, and in the middle of this dude was doing jokes about like Mexicans. He was a Mexican guy from Mexico, doing jokes about Mexicans, and the cook starts yelling from the window, "Hey, pinche Mexican!" Like just yelling stuff at him, and the guy's like, "Hey, sorry, tío," or something, and like rolls with it, keeps going with the set, and then out of nowhere the cook comes out with a plate of tacos while the comedian's on stage telling jokes, and he like grabs him. He's like, "I don't know what to do right now," or like, "Bro, I don't think that'll ever happen again. That's insane." There's so much wild shit that happens during comedy shows. I did a show with Uncle Laser
Oh yeah,
up in Fort Worth at Hyenas, and
that guy's a character.
his crowds are amazing, but they're really rowdy. Like if you're not a rowdy comic or a rowdy person in general, I don't recommend going. I'm not shitting you. I did my set, and they weren't heckling, but they were chiming in, and I'm doing my set. I get off, and then Laser goes on. People are getting drug out. They're blackout drunk, passed out, and they're getting drug out of the show
Holy
during the
shit.
show. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And I don't know. It's a good crowd. It's a fun crowd. A lot of people were, they say a lot of negative stuff about Laser, but I'm like, dude, go to one of the shows and tell me you feel that way afterwards, you know?
Yeah.
But
This guy at Bramble introduced me to Uncle Laser.
hell yeah.
What year was that? When I came down and we got our tattoos, I think it was that week. We went and saw Devil Makes 3, and Uncle Laser bought our tickets and everything. Like, I guess he was in the oil field back then. He was rich as shit. Yeah, but he hasn't changed. Not a freckle since then. It's crazy. Some people have said like, "Oh, is that like his bit? Like that's his bit?" I was like, "No, that's him. That's that guy."
He's the exact same jerk that he's always been.
Yeah, he's
Has a bigger audience.
Yeah. So I got to meet. That show was his brother. That weekend was his brother's birthday, whatever. So I got to meet the family and stuff.
Oh.
And I got
do they all look the same? That'd be funny.
his mom does look pretty similar to him, and she talks about like him too.
Oh my god,
That's my boy up there. You know, she has that same voice. But yeah, sweet people. You know, nice
Of course,
people.
her name's Letty.
And I have people approach me. They're like, "Hey man, I think you should really stick with the whole horse hauling cowboys stick." I'm like,
It's not a stick,
yeah, I'm
motherfucker.
just living my life, man. I don't care. You know, I take.
What are they gonna say about me? Hey, you should stick to that masturbating and drinking, and that's me. That's what.
That's my brand.
That's what.
I work so I built.
I
This
coined that.
I built this brick by brick.
You think I'd sleep into noon on purpose?
Oh fuck! I feel like
You think I'm wearing the same clothes from 2 days ago on purpose? No, this is my bit. It's a joke.
I'm a total piece of shit because it's funny. All right.
I would be in church right now if it wasn't for you. Hey, man. How are you? Good. You look good. Did you clean up a little bit? Did you do something?
Nice.
Well, I think I'm about to have to.
You about ready to hit the stage here?
Yeah, I got a few minutes, but.
All right.
I haven't tuned my guitar. I don't even know if I have all my shit in my guitar case.
We'll leave off like this. I'm gonna ask you one question.
Okay.
I'll set the scenario for you. Answer it however you want. There's no right or wrong answers.
Oh, I love these.
All right. You die and go to wherever you go, whatever that may be. And you get granted a welcoming concert, right? 5 artists of any time, dead, alive, don't exist yet. They could be a band in the future, past, present. You get 5 bands
Okay.
for your welcoming to whatever concert.
Okay. All right.
Who are you going with?
AC/DC with Bon Scott doing "Highway to Hell in Heaven." That would
Hey,
be awesome.
you can get crazy. You can have like AC/DC, Bon Scott with Shaq on bass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
you can get as wild as you
That
want.
would be wild. A whole band of Hooters girls, the hot ones from the '90s, like not these ones with C-section scars.
the non-Ozempic.
Yeah, yeah,
Hooters
yeah.
chicks.
Yeah, the OG Hooters
Shout out
girls.
Ozempic.
Yeah. A band of Ozempic sticks. Probably the Cars. I love the Cars.
Like from the movie?
No.
Oh, never mind.
The band, the Cars.
I got really excited for
Okay, all right, yeah. I want the. Let me change that. I want the Cars, but as Cars from the Cars movie.
Yeah. I
And
like the layers there. That's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
nice
yeah,
little
yeah.
like a nice little creative lasagna.
Right. ZZ Top, as they were, you know.
All respect, yeah.
Yeah. Show some respect there. And then, how many do I got left?
I mean, fuck it.
I think I did like 10 already. And then Ragweed. But 2003 Ragweed.
Hell yeah.
Well, people are walking in clapping.
Damn right.
That's the OU Texas game.
No, it's for us. They're clapping for us.
Oh,
Yeah. We're that
It's-
good.
Yeah, we're good. Thank you, sir. Tip jar's in there.
Well,
Is there a tip jar for comedians? Is that a thing?
maybe. I don't think I'm sure it exists.
That'd be funny if you open a guitar case and
Like dirty underwear. And
Yeah.
something like, oh, sorry. I never
oh
checked.
shit, I didn't shut that. It's just a suitcase.
Hey, what? This is not my joke, but why did the semen cross the road?
Uh,
Because I wore the wrong socks today.
oh, dude, being on a tour bus, you know, you get the sock jokes all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the funniest one I heard was Jamie Johnson's tour manager. He's like, "Man, I've been jerking off in a sock so long, my dick's growing a toenail."
Jeez.
Oh my god, I laugh at that every time.
Dude,
Sometimes I just look at a pair of socks and start laughing.
Some people have those like one-liners that just fucking hit.
Yeah.
It's fucking hit. And I'm grateful to be around those people.
Yeah, they're great.
But anyways, all right, I guess we'll wrap it up there. And thank you for sitting
Thank
down
you.
and talking.
Yeah, man, I want to do it again. I feel like that went by way too fast.
Yeah, it was pretty quick, pretty cool. That's how I roll, you know,
Yeah,
in and out.
in and out, in and out. Me too, but I got her knocked up.
Hey,
So
that'll do it. That's why you gotta start fucking dudes. They'll get pregnant.
I want
Life hack.
I wrote a joke about a similar thing. I was like, man, I want to be gay without all the gay stuff.
You know, Cam Patterson has a joke. He's like, you know, being gay is strange because girls have asses too. You got a point there.
That's pretty good.
But anyways, all right.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, let's do it again.
We'll see you soon.